Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today we're looking at something, well, it's kind of different, but really cool.
Yeah, this one's
We're
interesting.
going to be talking about basically how we label things, like how we put things into categories.
Right, like how we try to define things.
Exactly. And we're going to be looking at this through, get this, a song.
A song, huh?
Yeah. So there's this analysis out there called Análisis Profeta del Nopal.
Okay.
And it's really all about this idea. So it's connected to this awesome Mexican artist, Rodrigo Gonzalez, who's known as, get this, the Prophet of the Nopal.
The Prophet of the Nopal.
I know, right?
Cool name.
Super cool. And he's kind of like, if you could imagine, Mexico's Bob Dylan.
Wow.
Like super influential in folk rock.
Okay, so this analysis, what's the main idea?
Well, it really gets at this human thing we do, this like need to define everything, to put everything in a box, even people.
We do, don't we?
That's true.
Eh.
But there's this great line in the song. In Spanish, he says, definir es limitar.
Which means...
Defining is limiting. Is that interesting? Like the second you put a label on something, you kind of limit it.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. We do this all the time, to simplify things, to make sense of the world.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine if we had to start from scratch, explaining every single thing every time?
Right, our brains would explode. It'd be
Yeah.
way too much information.
Total chaos. But the song, it actually makes this really cool point. Like, yeah, labels are helpful. They're tools, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But they're only showing us a small piece of the picture.
Right. Just a tiny part of what something or someone actually is.
Exactly. Things and people are way more complex, than any one label can ever really capture.
Exactly.
And I love how the song is kind of self-aware about this whole thing,
How so?
Well, the lyrics actually point out the irony of using labels to describe their own music. Like, they're saying, we want our music to be this and that, but then they're also saying labels are limiting.
Right.
He's like, they get it.
Totally. It's like a paradox, right? We need these labels to communicate and understand each other. But we also need to remember to not let them box us in. I mean, think about this in other areas, like politics.
Oh, yeah.
People throw around labels all the time, and sometimes I think they kind of forget about the nuance.
Totally. It makes me think about how the song talks about individuality, this idea of like not letting other people's labels define who you are.
Yeah, that's so important.
Have you ever felt that way? Like someone put a label on you that just didn't feel right?
Oh, all the time. And the thing is, once someone puts a label on you, it's hard to break free from it.
So true. It makes you think about the power of labels.
It really does. And it makes you wonder how we can use labels in a more thoughtful way.
Yeah, like more responsibly. Oh, and one other thing I thought was really interesting about this song, it was actually created with the help of AI.
Really?
Yeah, they use these tools like Udio and ChatGPT.
Wow, that's pretty cutting edge.
It is. The creators fed all these instructions and style preferences into these programs, and then the programs actually generated different parts of the song. Isn't that wild?
That's so cool.
And then they took those pieces and, put them all together. It's like, it's making me think about how AI and technology in general might change how we use labels in the future.
It's something to think about for sure. I mean, it's a whole other deep dive.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But okay, so we've talked a lot about this song, this analysis. What does it all mean for us?
Well, I think the takeaway is that labels are powerful tools, but we've got to use them carefully.
Exactly. They can help us understand the world, but they can also, like we said, they can limit us.
So maybe a good question for all of us to think about is there a label you carry that you wish you could just shed? Or maybe even more interesting, is there a label that you wish people understood better about you?
Ooh, those are good ones. Definitely things to ponder. Thanks for diving in with us today. And if you're curious about Rodrigo Gonzalez, the Prophet of the Nopal, definitely check out his music. See you next time.